I've been having a hard time learning the two-hander. I've been at it for a bit now, and I've caught fish on it. I've been successful, which is nice. Everybody wants that. But I had a hard time with the double spey. So I made every mistake known to mankind doing the double spey, and I perfected every single mistake. For me, unfortunately, I had to pick every single problem I had apart. I watched every video I could find, reputable videos on double spey. Anyways, I watched every single video that I could find on it, and everyone says the same damn thing. So I was like, all right, that's enough evidence to know that if you follow their advice to a T, you're gonna pop them out. So I had to go back and watch all my videos of me doing a double spey and see when I was doing them right, what was up. So the first thing that I noticed with my double spey that was completely just wrong was I was too close to the bank or too close to brush. You need enough room for a double spey, especially with 11-foot rod, and this is a 21.5 foot Skagit head on here. So the problem there is that you need enough room for the D-loop for this kind of stuff. Now I've talked that you don't need that much room, backcast room, when it comes to Skagit casting, but it's a totally different thing when you have a longer rod. You need some backcast room. You need some way of forming that D-loop. Now there's exceptions to this rule, but for the most part, you need something. So that's what was happening, and it was frustrating me because I was having a 50-50 here. Like 50% of my casts were great, 50% were horrible. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm following everyone's, like, the sombrero hat. Pretend there's a sombrero hat and go around your head like that, and or like a martini glasses around your head, or a halo, or it's just something like that. Spiral staircases, all these like analogies. I was following them, and I still was not getting every single cast off. Then it dawned on me. I started, like, I could hear a noticeable difference in a good cast and a bad cast. And I was like, why am I hearing that? Why am I hearing an audible difference? And then it dawned on me that I was catching on this stuff, all these little twigs and everything, just little ones, like just on the side of the bank. It was enough to throw it off. Now, when I say that my casts weren't bad, I'm talking about, like, if they were still going out, but they weren't like these beautiful tight laser loops that you see on like OPST videos. I want those. I mean, everybody does. Why don't you want to have the best looking cast out there? I do. That's what I'm striving for. So that was the first mistake, was not having enough backcast room, not having enough open area to work on this. Second mistake was my anchor. I kept putting my anchor way too far from me, or I was putting my anchor way too close to me, too far out this way, too close to me. It was just not good. What you want is, like, to keep that, in my opinion, what's working for me. Now this could be different for everybody else, but what's working for me is having that leader and sink tip junction in a rod lengths away from me. So Simon Gosworth calls it a box. I find if my leader and or junction are in that box, I'm good with my rod, with my system. I know that I'm ready to rock. So I had to work on that. So then I got that done, and it was painful just to sit there and keep going back and forth. This always, like, just going like this. Oops, I'm hitting the trees here. And I'm gonna break a rod. And just going like this. I had to do that repeatedly until I could get it in the box every time. or at least 90% of the time. I'm just crazy like that. I will say I have to do it 10 times in a row. And, oops, flies, stone flies on the camera. So then I did that. Everything was good. Then I was off to the next part. And this is the part that was getting me the worst, was when I had the anchor where it needed to be, was the sweep. The sweep was it's so easy, but so easy to get wrong. What I mean by that is that if you have any dip, if your rod dips at all in that sweep, you're done, man. It's over. You're robbing yourself of all that potential energy. It's gone. So I started to learn that I had to keep it. You can go flat all the way across for the most part and then lift up at the end. But I found that for me, I wanted to pretend like a spiral staircase. So I progressively started to get my rod tip higher and higher to that, 45-degree angle behind me, or that 2 o'clock position, whatever, behind me to create my D loop to shoot it out forward, right? So then, so I started working on that, and I just literally like sat there and just kept going back and forth for like the longest time. It's just insane. So got that under wrap. Then it was all about the D loop, and the D loop is critical. I mean, that's what has to be perfect in order for to be able to send it perfectly, right? So the bloody L, whenever your line is not perfectly in line, so from the fly, the leader, the sing tip, and your Skagit line, all has to be in perfect alignment with your target, or else you're robbing it of energy and it's just going to flop out in a mess. Or worse, it's going to hook you up. You're going to get just crazy hookups on yourself, and we don't want that. So I had to work on that. So just doing D loops, and D loops. I was determined, man. I was not giving up. So when I started getting that, then it was about just sending it forward. When I was trying to send it forward, that's where I was getting nervous, because there's this thing called target panic in archery, and target panic essentially means that you could you start to like kind of flinch right at the end, like right when you're about to let the release go. And it's because like you think you're gonna slap your face or something. So in this case, what I was thinking, I was gonna hook myself up. And I knew that it wasn't gonna happen because my fly, everything's perfect. But I was thinking that. So that took a lot of energy and thought in order not to overcome that target panic, if you will. So then I just started getting that done, and just shooting out just the shooting head for the longest time. And then finally, it was just like so much recoil because I had so much power in there. But the power, sometimes it happened, sometimes it didn't. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, it's when you're at the 45, at the D loop, and you're going to make a cast, it's the exact same as a conventional fly cast. I know this sounds so elementary, and I've done this with single hand Skagit, but there's this disconnect that I was having with a two-handed rod, and I just couldn't make the connection with it's the same thing like a single hand at this point. Think about it like it's a single-handed cast. Everything was good. Boom, lasers every time. That's what it took for me to get the double Spey right. It's 2 plane casts, so I have to take it from here and then bring it here, okay? I can't go any further because I'll hit the trees. When I got those 2 planes working together, at this point, it was just a regular cast. And then when I got that regular cast going, boom, everything was awesome. But it was so hard to get to that point. I'm certainly not the best Spey caster in the world, but I love doing it because my shoulder is wrecked from motocross and all that, all the fun stuff back in the day. So the two-handed game and the Skagit stuff is really where I feel at home. Like casting with the dry fly, all that kind of stuff you know, going to be a challenge this year, but whatever. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you got out there and you start sending it because it's so much fun to do. I'm Elaine from Greenhorn Flyhorn. Keep it tight.